Steve Evans, 1 week on from, or almost 1 week on from Stockport, you say that you learn things, win, lose or draw. What did you learn from last Saturday?
Yeah, I think we need to learn to get the shape and the tactical side of the game right, or you pay a price. Certainly in that first half, we looked out of shape. Perhaps if we were looking down through the lines, we'd say, did a number of players implement what we'd asked or requested? The answer is no. But listen, when you believe you've got the shape of your side wrong, then you, for the opposition in mind, then you have to accept your own criticism. Nobody will criticise me more than me. So we've learnt that, and we've learnt that when big opportunities come in games, you have to take them. Because I don't think there's any doubt whatsoever in MD's mind, including the manager up at Stockport. There's no doubt who was the better team in the second half. We were much the better team, but we didn't look to have a clinical edge in the final third. So therefore, it's hard to get back in the game. So we've learnt a lot. We've learnt that we have to remain focused. We have to get it right on and off the pitch, and I'm sure we'll be fine.
And so obviously you'll be thinking of taking those lessons and putting them into this Saturday's game.
Yeah, it's chalk and cheese types of opposition. The system that Mickey Mellon will employ here and the personnel are wholly different to Stockport. And on a day that either could argue they'll beat each other, I think they do beat each other. So from that point of view, it's a different game. But the focus now, 16 games to go, has to be about ourselves and what we do and how we can affect opposition, rather than us perhaps overly analysing, overly worried about what others do. Let's focus on ourselves. We are thought towards the opposition, but first and foremost ourselves, and we'll take that forward to Saturday.
I was going to come on to that because there's not masses has changed from the first couple of weeks of the season when you played Tranmere, for example, to now. Is it just a case of letting the lads go out, express themselves with just that little bit of structure?
Yeah, listen, I think we've been more disrupted in the last 4 or 5 weeks than anyone else. We lost Ashby Hammond, and then we found a good replacement. We lose him. We found another good replacement, but a pivotal position as goalkeeper, and I think confidence comes from that. But we've also lost Luther Building. We've lost TVC. So from that point of view, when you've lost 3 out of back 5, Saxon went. So you could argue it's 4 out of 6 that's gone from when we were very settled and very stable. But we've got a plan for Saturday. We'll have 50% a chance of either Luther or TVC being fit. It's more likely going to be Tuesday or the following Saturday, but they'll be on the grass today. Whether that's on the grass enough to affect the team selection is wait and see.
Because you were hoping that they were going to be back at last week.
Yeah. Listen, it's just, Luther was a nasty challenge in the Bradford game, wasn't it? It was a high, late, dangerous challenge. No yellow card, referee appalling that day. It's what it is. So from that point of view, it's we lost him, and TVC is a slight hamstring strain. And the one thing hamstrings at this stage of the season, we don't want to bring them back too early and lose them for 4 or 5 weeks. We've already been without him now, it's going on 3 weeks now. So we're hopeful at least within a week he'll be back.
There's some Stevenage fans who are just getting a little bit nervous at the fact that it's 4 games without a loss. But the fact it is only 4 games without a loss shows you just how well you've done this season.
Yeah, and listen, I don't profess that I sleep easy when we don't win games, and when it goes to 3 or 4. But I think you have to, even what I said to you on Saturday, even when you're winning games, you have to break them down. And if we break the 4 games down, we should have beaten Bradford. I think we should beat Bradford. They're a good side, but we should have beaten them on a balance of play. But we made big mistakes and we got punished. I think arguably Sutton was a nothing game in terms of both teams really competitive, and the draw was fair. I think with an atrocious number of decisions at Newport away from having a good away win. And listen, I've got no complaints about Stockport. I didn't help the team. The team didn't help me back, so we didn't help each other. But it's probably the first or second time we've done that this season, so we'll bounce from that. But nervous is probably a strong word. Focusing on the positives and having a good support here on Saturday and us get back to winning. That's what essential. And we seen last weekend how difficult it is to win games. Yeah, there was 1 or 2 of the chasing pack win the game, and you look at the breakdown of those games, perhaps 1 or 2 fortunate, and others didn't look after themselves. It's real tough to go and consistently win games. So, but we'll try.
And back at home, of course, and that makes it a positive.
Well, I've said, you can't see what's behind you now, but on that board behind you, probably see week after week, there was up until we left Rochdale on the 4th of March was an incredible tough spell for us, because if you take the 4 away games in the cups, but that's just where it landed. It just seems as if we've done a lot of travelling, been away a lot, and I've always said up until Rochdale, when we leave Rochdale on the 4th of March, if we're in that top 3, we're in a brilliant position. 12, 13 games to go, evenly split, probably slightly more at home. A great position, terrific. But we need to get there, and all we can focus on now is Tranmere, and then we're twice on the road again next week. So let's focus on Tranmere. Let's try and get a win. Let's keep positivity. The home support has been brilliant for us. I think we've let them down a couple of times this year with Northampton and Bradford, but on the main it's been brilliant for us. And let's see how the table lies on Saturday night.
Well, Tranmere is a strange one, because it was a long time ago when you played up there back at the end of July. You can't have imagined, I think you touched on it slightly on Saturday, the fact you're in this position is something that you didn't really, honestly, fully believe back that day on.
Well, I believed it. Not many did. Not many outside my head believed it. Listen, I think I believed it and our chairman believed it, and that's two pivotal people at any football club, and it's not about me, it's about the manager and the chairman. And but if somebody had said to me, and I did allude to it, I said if somebody had said to me, we're driving it at Tranmere and we'll win the game, if somebody had said to me, you know, you're going to be playing these towards the end of February, and you're going to be second in the table, you're going to be 5 points clear of the 4th place team, and you've got a game in hand or 2 games in hand against a lot of the rivals, you'd be snatching the hands off, wouldn't you? You'd be literally grabbing the ticket, putting it in your bag and saying, let's go forward to then. So, yeah, we're in a great position. We had a meeting with the players that day. They had their own meeting again, we had a meeting. And we said to them, there is only Leighton Orient who would be in that, want to be in the position they're in versus us. Everyone else in the league would love to be in Stevenage position. So we have to embrace that. We have to acknowledge it. We've got 16 games to go. You know, 4 or 5 games from now, then we get into that 10, 9 games. And squeaky bum time comes, and then some can handle it and some can't. We've got a lot of big characters in there who are hotting with the little 4-game mini run that we're in. But in reality, it's an unfortunate loss. I think if we'd have beat Bradford, everybody's sitting here fairly relaxed. 2 good away points at Newport and Sutton, you win your home game. And you're going to lose the games, aren't you? So if you're going to lose a game, you lose at Stockport. There's no shame in that. I went up and watched them against Rochdale on Tuesday night. They were terrific. There's no other saying it. So we just need to take confidence into Saturday. We've got a great group. We wouldn't want to be in this position any other time of the season that where we are now. We'd want to be there. And the only one would be above, that's it.
You've touched on the injuries already. Just a word on the longer term ones, Tay and Elliot List.
Yeah, Tay's probably going to be end of March. So he's been a blow to us. But he's a great kid. If he can be back, he'll be back. And Elliot List's on the grass. So it's now about going from gym-based and recovery to running. And I had a lot of nod with Elliot the other day and said, you're back soon, son. And he smiled. He normally goes, no. But he didn't. He smiled. So we'd love Listy back. Even if we got back for the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season, it would have been an incredible boost for us, because I remind him every time I see him in here every day that he'd have been on about 28 to 30 goals by now with the chances we've created. And I think he feels that. I think supporters feel it with the way we've played. But yeah, we miss all our players, but none more so than Luther Building's become a big player, TVC's become a big player, you know, Saxon was a big player. They're big losses. But arguably now the boys are in and settled, and we'll see what Saturday brings.